Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Spookz and Booze. And today we have our new investigator here, Rachel. Hello, Rachel.
Oh, hello.
You excited to be here?
I'm
Is
very
she
excited.
is she new? Is she still new? Like, are we considering
She's
this
new
I
to
feel like we've
Spookz and Booze.
Spookz and Booze.
yeah.
That's right. This is our first Spookz and Booze episode.
So we try to do these Spookz and Booze every 5 investigations. Just to kind of get together and talk about...
Can I get a fact check on that, please?
5 years.
Yes, if
Every
you
5
go
years?
to our YouTube channel, North by Northwest Paranormal, and hey, you know what? While you're there, hit the subscribe button,
And the like,
and a like,
and leave a comment,
and the
and
bell.
leave a comment,
and
the
the bell
and
for
the
any of our
notification
How about
future
that?
don't forget to ring the bell
Spookz and Booze.
so you don't miss our investigations. So,
Sweet.
the last one we just put out, Investigation 10, was at Stanwood, which we did back in August. And looking back at our previous investigations, it looks like our 6th one was at the which one? Black Diamond Cemetery.
That was
Back
the
in-
first one.
Yeah, it was our 6th one.
God,
Back
So long
in
ago.
that
when
feels
was that?
So long ago.
Last summer, last spring.
Last summer.
That was like a year ago.
I think it was
No,
It might have been over
2 years
2
ago.
years ago.
We've been busy.
Damn.
There's been a lot that came
Life.
up. Life has happened, I can tell you that.
I'm bald now. You got gray hair.
I have a full beard.
Not on his face
Santa
either.
Claus needs its breaks. There, audience.
Yeah, it's just
This is what
Santa
Santa does on his
Off
time
season.
off season.
He does kind of look like the cartoon character of the fucking. What's that little clay animation one?
Oh, Jack Frost.
That's not the first. No, it's not Jack Frost. It's
It's like Santa Claus
Frosty the
comes to
Snowman?
town or something.
no, it's the redheaded
yeah.
Santa when he's younger.
Oh,
Chris Kringle.
That's not the first.
that might have been.
That's not the first time I've heard that. I was like, first time I heard it, I was like, you mother.
I mean, it's
step
accurate.
in front of the other.
That's not the 50th Santa Claus joke I've heard in my life.
Better than chicken jokes.
Is he
All right.
chicken?
I know, like chicken.
Chicken
So
legs.
back in the day when he would turn sideways at work, I would be like, "Where's Matt? Where's Matt?" And I'm like, "Sorry, chicken legs, I couldn't see."
Oh,
Every day.
Every day.
Every
Oh yeah, chicken legs. Is that right?
Come out of the
Chicken legs?
counter, and I'm like, "Where's Matt?"
who was in there with you guys?
Who was in there? I didn't see anybody. It was weird.
All right. So
Get off topic.
going back on topic now.
I mean, to be fair, he would either order a grilled cheese or a burger, and that's it. So
Hey, you know what? Whatever works.
whatever works.
I didn't want to
same
venture.
thing.
I didn't want to. I wasn't feeling adventurous. I felt adventurous in the past, and it's come back to haunt me.
Make better adventurous choices.
I thought so, but it
I
was,
got some good ideas for you.
please elaborate.
I got some good burger choices for you. You just got to go to Olympia.
Yeah, let me just get up and go to Olympia. No big deal.
You said you're adventurous.
No, not in that aspect. All right. So now, back on topic for real this time. Do you guys even remember Black Diamond?
Yeah.
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 So
I
first,
remember Black Diamond.
kind of the first.
The audacity.
The first thing that we got was the EMF readings, like on that one
Oh.
particular section of graves, and that was kind of like the only thing that we really got during the day because we got there pretty fairly early, right? So we
Yeah.
got there, we run around for the EMF. I remember this is kind of where I think this is where I got my new phone, right? My new when it comes to filming, it was like my new iPhone, and that was like the first time I've experienced the actual video freezing. Like freezing, stopping, like stopping recording. It didn't necessarily stop recording, but it just froze. Like the image on the screen was frozen, but it was still recording to where I would have to manually turn it off and then restart filming. That was the first time I've ever experienced something like that with that phone. Brand new phone. It was like a couple months old at that point. Not even like a couple months, maybe like a month old. It's never happened outside of haunted places. Every time I would film, it would be fine. But then as soon as we get to like a haunted location, that's when the filming just acts up in a way like that.
I think all of our cameras messed up that night at some point.
At some point, they do end up messing up, and that kind of that was like the first time I've noticed that particular issue happening with my camera, because we've always had camera issues in the past with other cameras, and it seems to be, I think we've pointed this out multiple times, where it's just a consistent issue. Camera audio will pick up interference or just stop recording altogether, or even like memory gets corrupted when we go to review it, right? It's a consistent issue, but with like a brand new camera
Or multiple. There's no, in my view, and statistically, there's no way multiple cameras, especially brand new or whatever, are going to mess up in the same way throughout the same time period.
right?
There's just the probability of it alone.
And you're going to hear this a lot. It's like, it can't be a coincidence.
Yeah.
You know, there's just too many things that happen to where
Too many things that have to fall in line for that to happen. To be a
Right.
coincidence. It just doesn't happen.
So that was the first thing that I noticed in particular, and then we went and got those EMF readings, right? And then nothing really happened the rest of the day, right? I think we had time to kill before night fell.
Yeah.
Then
So we kind
Austin
of
cut his hand open.
Yeah, that's right. I did cut my hand open.
Blood sacrifice.
That's right.
There was 2 blood sacrifices. You smashed a full
Fucking
mosquito on my
mosquito.
forehead.
That is true. Yeah, I did. And then like before it got dark, I did. What was I doing to cut my hand?
I didn't even
what
know you
you're
sliced your
doing.
hand open.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
that's
like
right. No, I was playing with a knife.
PSA: don't play with knives. Summon some demon in a cemetery by offering some blood sacrifice.
Unexpected blood sacrifice.
Mine and somebody random. Thanks to whoever this blood that was, by the way.
So then I think when we went back during the night, and I remember that night only because it was a full moon, I believe.
yeah, that was pretty
we
cool.
did.
It
It
was
really-
so bright.
Yeah.
You like to have your light on a lot on bright.
Well, yeah,
During investigation.
I need to see.
Full moon, perfect visibility.
Yeah, but
But light disturbs your night vision.
it does. What were you gonna say, Rachel?
I was gonna say he's right. The moonlight doesn't
So like,
illuminate
I
everything.
bet
man.
you can see during a full moon. Just
No,
turn off the light, and it's funny how your ey's accustomed to
I
it.
might be blind.
yes. but the thing is, when you're looking for, when you're actually looking
When you're looking
for, like,
for ghosts, they're attracted to light. Is that what you're saying?
yes, they're like mosquitoes.
Power source.
But no,
Source, please.
I just noticed the sources. I made it the fuck up. So the thing is, I just noticed I realized when we were just relying on the moonlight, it felt like I was seeing shadows.
Yeah.
So I needed a real light source, a high beamed flashlight to confirm what I saw. Because I could be looking at the cemetery just using full moonlight and think I'm seeing all sorts of things be jumping out, moving, whatnot. But
Just your mind, yeah.
it
I get
is just
yeah.
my mind, and it's like a flashlight would really confirm whether I saw those things or not. And cameras don't like moonlight. I'm looking at footage right now where there's no light, and I can't see a dang thing. The only thing I can see is through the IR camera. And I remember, so here's the thing. All of us heard, at some point you guys heard someone like round up on us.
Yeah, no, I think I turned around really quick.
Yeah,
I literally heard
both
somebody
of you
running.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we heard somebody running like the gravel,
Yeah.
and there's nothing there.
And so that was like kind of into the night. I think that was like
I think at the beginning we had that one on that the couple's grave.
yeah, we had
Got some like EMF responses.
yeah. And it looks like we had some audio static as well.
Yeah.
So like we point out many times before, when you got a combination of audio static, camera interference with EMF spikes in a place where EMF spikes
Consistently
shouldn't
over.
be.
I mean, look at our first or second investigation we had. That's when like a lot of the camera interference would come in
Yeah.
during the high peak times of activity.
Yeah.
And to repeat that over different locations and different investigations the exact same way
Yeah.
over multiple cameras.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
No, it's not. There's no way it can be a coincidence. And that is, I swear that's our catchphrase.
It's not a coincidence.
Not a coincidence.
Hence why
No
I
way.
say I don't believe in coincidences.
Yeah. So
It's just not statistically possible.
So I know us three, have kind of come to that conclusion where there's no way all these coincidences could have occurred. So
Yeah.
Rachel, what's your thoughts on? I'm not going to say coincidences in general, but like more like things happen during these investigations where you kind of have to think like, there's no way that those line of events happened in the way that they did. So what are your thoughts on just
On
kind of
on
that topic?
that topic. I don't know. I think it's more convincing than one thing. It's interesting and really is like not a coincidence that two things would go off at the same time, relating to each other.
Right.
So it's more evident.
And then I know when it comes to like more of our earlier investigations, I think we'll have more examples on that particular type of kind of what you're saying. I would support what you're saying. Ultimately, like this last investigation, there was like one line of events or you two that occurred during your guys's
Our bathroom time.
during your bathroom time.
Toe tapping time.
Little potty break.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that one later. But yes,
That's what you'll find on our Patreon.
Overall,
Subscribe.
yeah. so
Patreon.
Behind the scenes.
if you want that uncut bathroom footage, you have to subscribe to our Patreon.
Fans coming soon.
only ghost stock.
Only goes like
Only see
And our don't worry, I've already supplied plenty of pictures, guys.
not just feet.
We need to make a calendar.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Right, right.
Ooh.
little calendar.
12 poses. We could make that happen.
We could make that happen.
We have pictures of our investigations.
The EFMF meter and us in like a twerk pose.
Hell yeah. Matt, you can
box and thing on each side.
Don't give me these ideas. I'm gonna run with them. All right.
A
Mate,
Ouija
With my
board.
legs spread open and if
you can post in your like, comment, subscribe pose.
Thumbnail is just a Ouija board and nothing but skin.
A Ouija board covering like the whole like front.
The marker just right there.
It's not a hand on that marker.
Definitely.
All right. Back on topic. Ooh, it's getting hot.
right, right. Just the beginning. Yeah.
All right.
Or lack thereof.
Only way to find out. Subscribe.
Subscribe to our Patreon to know. Only ghosts.
Subscribe to our
So
Yeah, Diamond's pretty good.
yeah, and then I think
I mean, out of all our investigations,
Yeah.
it was probably the least active.
Yeah.
But the idea of being there and the potential it could have had or could have, and we just didn't catch it. Like, just because we didn't catch anything that night or
Yeah.
anything of importance or,
Doesn't mean that-
really noticeable,
yeah,
doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
don't
I think
know.
people say it's like the Washington's
haunted.
most haunted.
yeah.
Well, that windmill, that was just that singular windmill.
Yeah.
That was-
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
I was gonna get to is that was the last. That was kind of like the last piece of evidence we had, like notable evidence that we had was just that one singular windmill. That it was a still night. There
Yeah.
was no wind.
Yeah, it was
whatsoever.
very relaxing.
Middle of summer. It was fairly warm even at night, and we just had that one singular windmill. And as soon as we like
we
pointed
got
it
to
out,
it, it
noticed,
stopped.
audibly said, "Hey, look at that windmill." And then we walked up to it, and then just stopped.
And that thing, if you look at the video, was going so
Yeah.
fast. Like,
Yeah.
that is pretty.
When no other wind.
That would have to
around
be a
it.
lot of wind to really catch that. And for it to be the only one, there's. I mean, how many were ended up being there? I think there's
And
quite
there was
a
like
bit.
3 or 4, yeah.
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 This and that, and then
They were all in a row.
Yeah, so like for the most part, they're all facing the same way, same angles, everything like that.
It's like,
There's no way that just one.
yeah, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 there.
Yeah. So besides like that and like the initial grave sites we visited when it's still kind of day, and then getting ready to be dark.
Yeah.
It was a pretty mellow night, I think.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think just the fact that it was kind of more hyped up. I think in my personal, because it was like Washington's most haunted cemetery.
Yeah.
So I was expecting stuff.
And that's the thing you got to be careful of is it being labeled the most haunted because it's like one of the oldest is like that. Just age doesn't put a haunting in play, right?
Right.
You could have an old church and absolutely nothing going on. It could not be haunted at all. It doesn't matter how old it is. There's got to be some kind of history. Just putting bodies in the ground with a headstone doesn't make it haunted. Right?
Old age plus cemetery does not equal haunted.
Right. And getting
Correct.
specific
Yeah.
answers from the EMF, I think it was, on those initial like grave sites,
Yeah.
I think was more convincing than anything else we caught that night besides the windmill.
And it looks like, just doing a quick review on this video, it looked like we reacted to a lot of noises around us. So it seemed like there was, I mean, obviously that's not.
I think we all saw shadows at some point where we're staring in the dark and we're like, did you see that?
Yeah, and that was the problem, like we were saying earlier. Like it just seemed like I was jumping at shadows. I very well could have been seeing shadows. That shadow could have been there, but
We all had a personal experience where nobody else saw something.
yeah,
Even if we were all facing the same way, somebody saw something different than the person next to them. Absolutely.
so it was definitely. I think it was a fun trip. I mean,
Yeah.
I had a good time.
At the end of the day, no matter what we caught, I mean, we don't go into investigations expecting to catch anything. We're there to disprove whatever we come across.
Exactly.
That's our first thing, right?
Exactly. Oh, by the way,
We trimmed the beard and cut his
what are we drinking today?
I was thinking about that too.
selfless plug.
Yeah, we didn't
Like
we didn't
signature select.
craft well cocktails.
Craftable cocktails.
It's something that I personally found to enjoy myself. So I figured we'd all take a swing at it, and I think we're doing pretty well.
I finished
You're
mine
doing pretty
before
good.
the shoot of this.
Yeah, we had shot a video prior to this, and I'm sure it's already out by now.
Do you have one? Don't you have one more?
No, I finished.
Finish all 4?
I feel great.
All
Brother, I drank 3 of these one night, and I was down for the count.
Oh, I'm just
built different.
I'm a man.
I'm just built.
I'm just built different.
You're gonna crush the can in your fucking armpit.
Anyways,
Pretty good. Pretty good.
I
Investigation
mean,
7.
4 is all right. I could probably go for another.
I'm
4.
looking at Investigation 7 right now, so I'm gonna ask you guys. Do you remember what Investigation 7 was?
It's a quiz. I can't.
Yeah. This occurred almost 2 years ago. Do you guys remember what the investigation was?
7.
Black Diamond.
What was after Black Diamond?
It was the same day that I had texted you asking you to join.
That would have been the train tunnel.
Devil's
Was it?
Tower. It was Devil's Tower.
Was it Devil's Tower? Oh,
Nope.
no?
No.
No.
Oh,
It
it was the
was
train
the
tunnel.
residential house.
Oh,
Oh,
shit.
St. Ignatius.
no. It was a house
But
in,
Oh, is this? Oh,
Yeah,
it was
the
family
but
house.
the family house.
undisclosed
house-
location.
Undisclosed.
Undisclosed location, yes.
Yeah. house
Area,
call.
area 52.
Yes.
52.
So that one,
Area 52 and a half.
that one,
Platform 9 and 3/4.
Yeah, 3/4.
9 and 9/16.
had a big fucking beard in this video too. Good lord.
I know, and you've shaved it since then. It's grown back like.
That's only because it got crusty.
A little too much.
You weren't supposed to say that.
Remove.
I told you that in
Told you
confidence.
he's a fucking Santa Claus. Fucking Tim Allen over there.
He's branding wishes left and right to the Nevada whorehouse.
But this investigation was
That
wild.
one was crazy because we all were in one spot the entire time.
Well, yeah, because the only reason I focused on that particular room, obviously, because we found stuff the most in that room. But the witness accounts that I had gotten prior to us even doing the investigation was all centered in that particular room,
which we kind of concurred really easily because
and we
instantly, pretty much.
Yeah.
Before the rest of us got there,
I
we
went
were
up
getting
there.
a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and then because I gotten one, that's when I first started putting the Envoy device to use, right?
Yeah.
And that's when I had gotten a response on the Envoy, and then when I had walked away with the Envoy device on, it was going off like as I was, because the dog there was freaking out, right? Mm-hmm. And the dog was another piece of evidence, only because I remember him coming in the room and him staring dead in the corner of the room, like he was looking at someone or something.
Yeah.
They know.
Yeah, they absolutely know. And so that's when I got an Envoy device reaction, or it went off. And then as soon as like I heard him kind of whining down the hall, so I needed to see if he wanted to go outside, right? So I went out and so I left everything on, left the camera running, and then it had gone off a couple times when I was walked away. So that was interesting. And that's when you guys showed up. And that's when we started setting up stuff. That's when I told you that we had stuff going off in this room. And then we had the REM pod start going off. Mm-hmm. Everything that we had in that room was going off.
Yeah, definitely. There wasn't a dull moment where we didn't have some kind of equipment doing something.
And then we had my favorite device, the SLS, capturing figures in the room.
I think near the bed or the foot of the bed, I think.
It was on the bed and then in the windowsill too.
Yeah, okay.
And it was weird because they say that I think there's like a little porch, like a little landing outside the windowsill. I can't remember exactly.
I don't. Yeah.
We never actually looked, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure based on witness accounts, there's a landing
Never
out there.
incurred that.
And they would hear footsteps on like the landing outside the window. So the fact that there was SLS footage of something at the window, you know,
That would be so freaky.
yeah. So like
Well, the room in itself was like interesting.
It's
You had to go through the big bathroom.
Yeah.
And it's this half a door.
because it's an old house, so
Right.
like there was like so
It's an
many-
old farmhouse.
so many additions to the house that it just looks funky. It's a room, but just kind of like
But it's weird shaped. It's
Yeah.
tiny. It's cramped. You have to go through, up the stairs through a bathroom to this half door Dobby size thing, and then all of a sudden you're in this room and it's just nothing but weird feeling and activity.
yeah. And it was like the teddy bear. All right.
Oh,
We
at
asked,
the end,
do you
that we
want a
kinda-
teddy bear? So this is where we kind of like
Made the
I remember
connection.
you guys calling me on the way home, and you're like,
Yeah, literally
Yeah.
15 minutes after we all left, I was like, holy shit. Right?
so
Hey,
here's where it kind of clicked
it all
for all of
did it
us.
for a full circle, yeah.
So we asked, do you want a teddy bear? And it answered yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we had grabbed one of our REM pod teddy bears, put it up, and we're like,
Nothing.
here's a teddy bear. Do you want a teddy bear? And it said no. And so we're like, you said you wanted a teddy bear. And so that's when we kind of packed everything up and moved to a different room, right? And then I just remember hearing like weird noises in that room too. And then that's when the owners came home, and so we went down and talked to them. But the fact, the witness accounts that we had from the children that lived there was one night she woke up to her closet door shaking, like
Yeah,
violently
or-
shaking.
And they always found it open when it should be secure.
Yeah, and so they would, and apparently that closet contained teddy bears, and the teddy bears there was a couple particular older teddy bears that they inherited, and so we kind of connected that, hey, maybe you just wanted one of those teddy bears, and so the fact that closet had activity based on the owners there, and that the closet contained teddy bears, and the REM or the Envoy device responding to us asking if you want a teddy bear, kind of just
It brings it all full
Is it a
circle.
coincidence?
Right, and you got to keep in mind too, they were doing full house renovations, which is known
Yeah.
to stir up kind of the
Yeah.
residual or any of that kind of type of activity. So you take an old house or building, you throw in new owners yet again, and you throw in renovations on top of that. It's bound to stir up something.
Right.
and I think we
Culmination of all that.
We
stuff.
showed that pretty well. 'Cause,
Yeah.
we could have probably gone a couple more hours and still got stuff out of that room.
Right. So I think we picked up like EMF, not EMF, but like one of our cameras picked up footsteps. And even you pointed out, you're like, I hear footsteps.
Yeah, definitely.
And one of our cameras picked that up too.
Yep.
And that's
That was really clear.
that's
I
something
think
that
that's some of the clearest footsteps we've ever gotten.
because it's like old
Right
hollow
there. Yeah,
wooden
it's
floor.
very easy
Yeah.
to pick up the slightest movement.
And so and then that's something that they hear constantly is footsteps in the upstairs room especially. So
Need to do a follow up on that.
Right.
yeah, no, I would love to. And then the last but not least in that investigation was the giggle. Austin's giggle.
So I think a couple times out of that, besides mimicking my giggle, because we were all downstairs at the point. I think we have it on camera, or at least us coming down and not being anywhere. I think the creepiest part is this, how close it was sounding to me, where even I was like, is that me? No, it sounded just like it, but you can hear us all talking in the background because we're all downstairs. And
Yeah.
all
Well,
that.
that's talking, yeah.
What? The owners plus the kids,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
as witnesses, that none of us could have been doing.
And there was a still camera down there, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. We had
all
one
the static
facing
cams
that
and-
exact, like the stairs and everything. So you saw us come down and not go back up.
Yeah. So that one was definitely interesting. Malicious entity? No.
No,
Just
I would.
Playful?
I would definitely playful. I almost would say it's more on the residual than the intelligent.
I don't know.
Like we did get a lot of specific answers, without a doubt.
If something can straight up, I mean,
I just kind of think of like is it growing into something that could be malicious
maybe
when it's starting to mimic and
it turns out it starts.
the maliciousness that comes out of like these hauntings or people
Yeah.
like think of ghosts as instantly malicious, I think is more Hollywood.
yeah.
Because the chances of or actually running into something malicious is really slim. right?
Yeah.
I think
Out of
Devil's
every-
Tower, the first investigation, or maybe even the second, is where I felt the most scared.
Yeah.
But overall, even in those situations, once you kind of understand what's going on, I don't think I've ever felt anything that was out to personally get us or harm us.
Yeah, I've never
felt
threatened during an investigation.
Yeah.
Creeped out, sure.
Absolutely, yeah. creeped
But
out.
threatened? No, absolutely not.
No.
And like you said, Hollywood's to blame for the whole
I think our original
malicious.
Devil's Tower investigation with the aftermath when leaving was more scary than the actual investigation.
That
So,
still,
to this day, gives me the creeps.
yeah. I mean, just the fact that we were leaving and there's like a crash in the woods.
The fact that we had to pull a weapon over not seeing anything, and then the black van afterwards was wild to me.
Yeah, I still can't explain that. I was about to.
Just start
Pop a
capping.
cat.
I had my gun drawn in those woods. There was.
I think we had multiple guns on that. We were all like, "What the do we do?"
We threw everything in the van, right?
Yeah. We're like, please start.
Because we're having car issues.
Yeah, no, because that was a loud crash in the woods, dude.
It was following us the entire
There's
three
no way
quarters of a mile back to the vehicle.
That wasn't even a ghost at that point. That was like straight up Bigfoot, dude.
What? It wasn't even Bigfoot because it didn't make a Bigfoot sound or howl or call.
It was a
just-
loud crash.
We need
And
to.
the funny thing is where we parked, it starts going downhill,
Yeah.
straight to a raging river.
Yeah.
So there wasn't anywhere really to be comfortably at.
Like that thing, whatever was there would had been there the whole time with us.
Because we heard it chasing us down the road, following us, and none of our lights could pick it up. Nothing. IR camera, flashlights, nothing.
Wasn't a
picked it up.
person.
No,
Well,
because
that-
we would have picked something. I mean, you got an open road,
Yeah.
and then you have woods on each side. We
it
would
was
caught
miles
something,
outside
and
the
it
town.
was just boop,
Yeah.
boop, boop, kept following. Never got on camera. Never saw eyes.
That van
nothing.
came out
After we were down
like a
the
mile
mountain.
down the road.
Yeah, when we were down the mountain getting ready to cross the bridge to get out of there. A black van. Yeah. Anyways,
So
back on topic.
yeah, no. Actually, we'll transition into our next investigation, which is Devil's Tower.
Return.
The Return.
We thought me and you, we did our initial scouting where everybody else stayed at the vehicles.
And I need to stop doing that. I heard somebody in Devil's Tower as we were walking up to it. I 100%, I know for a
Right,
fact.
because we turned off our light. Well, I didn't have mine. You had yours, of course, because I slept in the dark.
Oh, of course.
Of course. But we actually stopped and like hid in the wood line for a second because we legit thought there was people coming out and there was nobody.
Yes. I heard voices down.
We even at
Devil's
one
Tower.
point heard a car coming and nothing, there was no car.
That was just because I remember looking at you and I was like, there's somebody down there.
Yeah, we heard talking.
And so that's when we kind of did we did a sweep of the area, and then we went back to Devil's Tower, and that's
We
when
messed
we're
with everybody.
we're
Yeah.
like, hello. No. We went back to like the tower itself, and we're like, hello, anybody there?
Oh, that's right. We tried to.
Nobody.
Yeah, nobody came out. We'd listened, nothing after that, and that's when we radioed, "Hey, we're coming back."
And that was shortly after like a windstorm. So there was a fallen tree. It was difficult to navigate into Devil's Tower.
It was very difficult this time around. Yeah.
And so the fact that nobody was there. We called out.
There was no
"Hello, anybody
lights.
there?"
There was nobody to answer. There was no movement. There was nothing. We searched the place from what we could see. There's nobody.
Yeah, there's nobody.
We had that place covered.
And so that's when we went back and messed with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as we got
Something
past the
parakeet.
waterfalls and all that, we just came over the radio. Scream.
Did-
Get the car started. Get the car started.
Get the car started.
Yeah.
Eric
I
just
do remember that just panic.
didn't
Well, like-
hesitate, just started throwing stuff.
Look, like, I think I was using the restroom, or I was all the way by the bathroom, and I was like, had to run that way. Like,
Rachel's like confused, just standing there, and Eric's just chucking shit into the car.
It's true. I'm like, no way. Like, no way. Smell the fucking night.
Eric's like, I can't take the risk of it not or
Yeah.
it being real and then not doing it.
I know an ice call when I hear it.
Like a helo, man. Taking no risk.
I had to stop and think, oh, I'm a citizen. I'm 40.
I got all my licenses.
I got my
Wait, I'm
papers.
legal. What am I worried about?
But that one, I think, from start to finish, we had something constantly.
I mean, there were disembodied voices everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tough because it had just rained. It was cold. It was middle of what?
It was snowing.
Yeah, it was snowing
It
when
was
we were.
snowing.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So it was like 30s, 20, 30 degrees.
Yeah.
It was cold.
It was
wet.
miserable. We had the wagon. We had to bring it on.
We had to push the wagon up. that,
like somebody pulling, couple people pushing, switching halfway through.
yeah.
And a radio flyer.
Yeah, it
Wagon
was
going out there.
ridiculous.
Rip SLS camera.
I forgot about that.
It dropped on the way there, so it's like out
Not
of
even
commission.
once,
Yep.
multiple times. Like that was the one thing they couldn't stay in. The wagon.
So yeah, no, we can use that in investigation. But yeah, I think what we started with was we got like envoy responses, right? So we
Yeah.
had we were asking questions. It was going off constantly. There's no way something could make that go off.
You hear that, dude?
What?
I
fucking
swear I
know.
heard talking.
I swear to God, you guys hear stuff more than I do. I don't know if I'm like preoccupied and I'm like in my head somewhere to where I can't hear, but like every time you guys hear something, there's actually something there. And I'm like, what? What are you guys talking about?
We should have heard the same thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that always happens. You guys are like looking at each other. Like, did you hear that? Yeah, I heard that. I'm like, what are you guys talking about?
It sounded like a distant scream
Yeah.
if you really want.
I mean, do I need to go check on Brooke?
Probably.
I mean,
It didn't sound like her. Didn't sound like her at all. That'd have been closer. It sounded like a distant scream, but like from the kitchen, a distant scream.
Like 10 feet away?
Like 100 feet away, but being 10 feet away from the area it came from.
All right, well, I'm just going to assume it's demons, all right? Anyway. Devil's Tower.
Devil's Tower.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anyways,
So
We got stuff from start to finish. I think it was as fucked up as it was for me going back. How weird it was and like how I had to fight everything saying don't.
Yeah.
It was the most active.
yeah,
Very active from start to finish. Like we could have stayed there another 6 hours and probably got stuff.
Yeah.
What time do we?
But we were
left
having
pretty late,
constant.
yeah.
We were running out of battery. We were having camera issues. We were having audio
And dude,
issues.
It fucking drains your. You get.
We were always hearing stuff. We heard talking, walking,
Yeah.
screaming. We saw stuff or heard stuff from outside the building constantly when nobody could possibly be there without us knowing.
and this is another thing that kind of like, I don't know, blows my mind about this whole thing, because you were saying earlier that, you know, Matt doesn't hear what you guys hear, and this time I didn't hear, because you guys were talking about those conversations that were happening
Yeah.
We
outside.
were hearing
You didn't hear any of
full-blown
that?
Yeah, I didn't hear any of that.
Yeah, we were hearing full blown
Yeah.
conversations
Especially
where we're
like the
like,
female and
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's what like I was constantly thinking like construction workers were gonna show up or cops. Or something.
I know, dude.
but the thing is, where we are at and where Devil's Tower is, you know when somebody's coming.
Yeah.
You can't walk up on that place without somebody knowing. You're gonna hear something.
You can hear them from like probably half mile away walking through that gravel,
Yeah.
or even through the woods, or even like
like
down
the
path.
grass. There's
you,
nothing quiet up there.
You can't
because
sneak up on somebody.
Even with the river, right? No matter how rushing it was, or like the waterfalls or anything besides the running water was so audible. Being next to the mountain and the cave outs and all that, it echoed.
Yeah.
There was no way to. You can maybe army crawl on your stomach up without being heard, but that's about it.
Yeah, no,
You're not
there's
doing anything without being
It's like
There's
a
no way.
straight gravel road up to
Yeah.
one of the main entry points.
And
There-
even,
yeah, there's
even when I even with the windstorm,
You
there
can
was
hear
there was so much debris everywhere that you could not navigate that place without falling over, tripping over.
Yeah, it's like
And-
you're gonna need a
something.
flashlight or something going through so we would see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no way to do anything without being
Should have
heard.
brought that
on
van for that one too.
I don't.
Just for
wanna-
dramatic effect.
Yeah, seriously. So
The
we had
snow wasn't enough.
So we constantly heard, I mean, just like previously, we constantly heard voices, envoy devices going off constantly. Like, what the hell?
There was
making
always
Even
something.
the mag light was going off pretty well. Now.
Yeah.
That's where we
It
decided to
was
set
ano-
our equipment.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. It was another one of those situations where multiple things were going off at the same time
and on demand.
and on
Yeah.
demand.
that? Yeah.
The fact that you can get something, no matter what the device is, to kind of go right after you specifically ask it something to do it. Not only for it to happen once is it incredible, but to have it happen again and again
Yeah.
and again. Different locations, different atmospheres, different everything. You can't do that. That's
No.
I don't have the energy to fake.
Yeah.
I don't think we have the time.
I don't got the time. I don't got the patience. I don't got the
I just don't got the fucking energy.
knowledge to manipulate or create something that would be manipulated in any way.
Right? And to make it very clear that mag light, it really needs to be tapped to turn on and off.
Yeah.
Even I have troubles making that bitch turn off. I like tap it a couple times.
It's just like, what the
We have magic
what the
fingers
heck?
you gotta use too.
I guess, man. I guess.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, no, like even I think there's. So going back to because I'm looking at the footage right on my
Yeah.
iPad, and that scream that you heard and only you heard, but
Oh, that
picked
was-
up on your camera.
Yeah, that was wild.
That
and I didn't hear it.
it was like a high pitched scream.
Like I legit thought we were gonna find some missing poster girl or something.
Or
Like,
like some sort of like freaking cryptid or something, dude.
Just something, yeah.
It was like that
was
scream.
nuts.
That scream was creepy.
To this day, I hear it, right? And I can picture something coming out of the dark. And I have to just
no.
instantly stop. Because
No.
yeah.
No, don't even say that.
It was
That's what
that's probably the creepiest thing I've ever heard that I can't explain because
set me up with ghosts all you want, dude. I don't care. But just tell me.
the nearest house was miles away, right? There's
nobody.
There's nobody out there. We've proven that because we went through the whole
hiked like a mile and a half through the woods to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. We went
not easy.
We went through the area, went through the whole building. We had multiple people, different places. There's nowhere to hide. No. Everything is open, it's broken, it's decrepit.
Yeah. There's nowhere to
hide.
Sure, there's graffiti, but were you there at like midnight, 1 a.m.?
There's
nobody's there on weekday. No, nobody's there.
Or even like last time when we were the first time, the kids said they don't go there at night, and
the first time we were there, the kids were like,
everybody in the town doesn't like to go there.
Well,
we will.
that whole investigation was just wild because it was just disembodied voices everywhere, and then
we couldn't get 10 seconds without be like, did you hear that?
Yeah. Looked over. Did you hear that? Like it sucked because there was like water drips everywhere. Like, 'cause obviously it was like snowing and it rained
But the good stuff about that is consistency. You could tell what kind of like.
Yeah.
What was that?
Oh, that's a water drop because it happens every 3 seconds exactly.
The thing is when you hear it and you're like, that's a voice, and you look and you review audio and you're like, yeah, that's a voice.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's like kind of reinforced. It feels good to be like reinforced that way because it's like you heard it, and a lot of these times it feels like you're kind of you're jumping at shadows.
You're jumping at everything.
You're jumping at everything, right? Like you're in an unfamiliar location in the dark. Your senses are heightened, so you're gonna be listening and seeing stuff that necessarily aren't there. You're kind of being more sensitive to things around you. So when you see something or you hear something and your audio or video pick up what you see or hear, that makes it so much better.
Yeah.
Kind of reinforces that, like, okay, yeah, I definitely did see it. So it makes you trust your senses just a little more on your next investigation. So, but yeah, that is a very common occurrence for anybody who does go out on these. You're going to be jumping in shadows and you're going to be hearing stuff that necessarily aren't there.
Especially
but it doesn't mean
follow-up investigations.
It doesn't mean to discount those because
it could be something.
It definitely could be something. So that was kind of the takeaway for this investigation.
We were already on alert from the first investigation. It took us quite a while to really even seriously consider going back.
Yeah.
Because we all talked about it and we all kind of laughed, and I think I was like,
we're never coming back here.
Yeah, I don't think
you're later.
To go back.
Right, let's go back.
I was like, I don't think I could go back just knowing what happened the first time.
Yeah.
And then here we are.
There was always like aftermath kind of things that we were kind of like experiencing at home. Like, kept hearing like footsteps in my room.
Really?
Like, because we're downstairs, it sounds like someone's walking in my room or something like that. Then my sister was getting what's it called? Sleep paralysis. She said she's never had that in for a while. Right after
crazy phenomenon.
Right after we came back from that.
That is the sketchiest. I've had that, and it is the scariest thing. Yeah, it is the creepiest thing.
Eric, have you had it?
Only like one time, yeah.
I'm sure your experience with it, because I have my own experience, but I'll
sleep paralysis. So the experience that I've had with it is I'm no longer sleeping. I'm starting to become conscious, but I cannot move. Mm-hmm. I cannot open my eyes. I cannot do anything under my own will besides consciously feel what's going on. And it's like anything I try to do wasn't working. I could not lift a finger. I couldn't do anything. And it's like you try to breathe, but then your body forgets how to breathe. So then instant panic sets in where you're like, breathe, motherfucker, right? But then you can't do anything to breathe. You are literally just stuck where you're at, and it's for me, it was short-lived, right? It was a couple seconds each time, but it was absolute terror.
Did you meet your demon yet?
Huh?
Did you meet your demon yet?
I haven't met my demon yet. So probably looks like me, honestly.
So I've had 2 instances of sleep paralysis, and luckily I've seen stories and I knew what sleep paralysis was when I was in the middle of sleep paralysis, right? So the first time was when I was working graveyard, and I remember I had waken up, and then I sat on this very couch. Actually, I was in this very seat, I remember. And the layout of our apartment we had was a TV was like right in front of me, right? My girlfriend was sitting right here, and then her two friends were over there. And I remember I'd gotten up a little earlier than I usually do to like, be with company. And I remember falling asleep on the couch. I like laid there and I like fell asleep. And I remember waking up, and then it's weird because it's almost like you're awake. It's weird, but like
you're conscious, but without being
conscious. It seemed like I could see everything around me, but I couldn't move. Like no matter what I tried to do, I just couldn't move. I like had my head to the side. I had whatever, but the only thing I can control was my breathing.
I couldn't even do that.
And so I knew what was going on because I just couldn't move. I was like, sleep paralysis. So then I remember like breathing very rapidly, just breathing in and out very rapidly to where Brooke looked at me and was like, hey, are you okay? And like bumped me. And like her bump was almost like that thing
break.
that released me. So I was just like, oh, it was almost like
something distracted you from that.
Yeah. Like broke me out of it. And I remember just like waking up and I was like, and I was just like, thank you.
You have no idea what you just did.
And then the second time I had it, I was actually in bed by myself, and it was on my weekend, and it was like fairly like I had like blankets under my window to like keep the light out, right? But it was like light enough to where like the light was peeking out through the cracks of the window and the blankets to where I could the room was like dimly lit to where I could see everything around me. And so I was like, oh no. I was like, I really do not want to see something I don't want to see.
The scariest sleep paralysis I think I've had where my eyes were open. I wasn't even asleep yet. And like I was starting to fall asleep, clearing your mind. You're thinking about this and that and the million things your brain does while you're falling asleep. And I was like, this is a bad like thought process I'm going down. Like I went down this weird fucking dark road, and I was just sitting there kind of laying, my eyes open. And then I was like, man, I'm really tired. And in my mind, I closed my eyes. But like in reality, my eyes were open, and I was just starting to get comfortable. And like I instantly like hands by my side, and I just went stiff. And like I blink, I could look around, and I couldn't do anything else. And like I felt this pressure on my chest. I couldn't lift a finger. My breathing became like harder and harder to really like raise my chest to breathe, open up my lungs. And like I was fully conscious, and then when I came to, it was like I was waking up again. It was this weirdest freaking thing.
It's weird because like you swear that your eyes are open and you can look around, but then when you like break out of it, you're almost like opening your eyys again.
It's like you're waking up for the first time.
Yeah, and so it's I just remembered the second time I had it, when I knew what was going on, I closed my eyes. I didn't want to see something crawling in my corner of my mouth. So I closed my eyes and I started breathing rapidly again to like wake myself up. And then eventually it was kind of like a breakthrough moment where I eventually just kind of broke out of it. The scientific reasoning, which is like your body not snapping out of like the sleep cycle.
Yeah. Like you're getting into a REM cycle almost kind of thing.
Yeah. So like you wake up, but your body before your body finishes
before your brain knows what's
before it finishes its sleep cycle. So I mean that's obviously scientific.
That's creepy in itself if you think about it.
Yeah, it is. Like you're kind of,
but then
your conscious is waking up before your body does.
Yeah.
Or it produces the whatever it needs to do to like get your body up. So I heard about that a long time ago. I haven't had any sleep paralysis. This was like years ago before the second time that happened. I've had it since. I hope to never have it again. This is creepy, and I want to see something crawling in my ceilings or walls.
Yeah.
You want
something
I don't want that.
Something insidious,
Yeah. With the glowing red eyes and just black shadow.
Yeah, my experience is kind of like yours too. It's like I realize that I'm having the paralysis, but I have seen like the shadow.
You have seen it?
Yeah, and that was right next to my bed. That was like the weirdest thing because like it was like the outline of my dad, so I thought it was my dad, but it was all black.
Yeah,
and then like it was doing like high knees.
Is that
like it's like jogging in place? And I was like, what the?
Glowing red eye. Did it have the glowing red eyes?
Didn't have any eyes. There was just kind of a shadow.
Okay, yeah.
And everything
How
like
fast was it jogging?
like fast, like like just like that. Yeah,
God.
yeah. Like
Can I
doing
get
like
an
high knees,
exact
and I was like,
speed
what
measurement?
the?
Like Usain Bolt fast, or like
That is what
Yes.
interests me. It's like, how come everybody sees everybody who has sleep paralysis? I mean, like, not everybody, because I didn't see it. You didn't see it. You saw it though.
Yeah.
I closed my eyes before I could see something.
I.
But how is that a thing though?
So,
How comes-
but like
right?
me consciously, I wasn't looking for something doing it. I knew something was doing it. So like, even though I didn't see anything, I was like, I should be able to control myself right now. Like I'm a very light sleeper unless I'm like in my deep cycle finally. But it takes a lot for me to fall asleep. So the fact that I could be in that situation so early to laying down to sleep is like just mind blowing to me, because that like it's very rare that happens, and it's usually after investigations that it happens. So
That is interesting.
So Devil's Tower.
Interesting pattern.
Yeah, Devil's Tower. There's,
back on top.
That
there seems
place.
to be
Back on
something.
Let's go again.
Sully wasn't
Go ahead.
recording that entire time.
It just seems like there's stuff that just there's lingering.
Linguini.
There seems to be something, some aftermath thing that happens every time we go there. Do we recommend going there? Absolutely not. Don't ever go there.
It's dangerous.
They don't call
leave it for us.
Leave it for the professionals.
So now, let's talk about Wellington.
Wellington.
So Rachel, you have more of a connection to Wellington than any of us.
So Wellington started for me way back in 2014, when my brother and an ex-boyfriend of mine went to Wellington to go check it out, purely because it was just an abandoned train tunnel, not because it was supposedly haunted, but that, you know, that you're right, that added to the interest.
The excitement and interest.
And I don't know, my ex-boyfriend changed very quickly after that incident. And he had claimed before that he could see spirits at his house, and then once he moved in with me, like, at my house, and his claims were interesting because I had a separate friend that described like a similar spirit in my house, and then he described the same spirit without talking to her. So that kind of helped
Solidify your suspicions.
solidify just his claims that he could communicate pretty well. And so we went to Wellington, and for a moment there, like maybe 5 or 10 minutes, like we couldn't find him. And he ended up like walking back to us, and then like being like, we need to leave. And you're like, okay, because my brother and I, like, the tunnel was closed, and there wasn't really, the river was pretty high, and there's really nothing else we could do aside from just like look at the tunnel. And so we went back to the car. On the drive home, he was different. And then when we got back to the house, he started saying that we had brought stuff back with us. And one of them was the spirit that we had nicknamed Rex, that would what my ex-boyfriend claimed was that he would possess him. And I don't know if this was a multiple personality thing, or because he didn't show any signs of multiple personality disorder before this, so it's like not super likely, but still like a possibility. He would claim that Rex would take over his body, and Rex and I would have conversations about like the afterlife and
That's crazy.
how spirits manipulate energy. And it started to turn dark.
Did you know it was Rex and not your ex?
There was a distinct personality change.
Okay.
Like there was like an air of like kind of malicious confidence with Rex, whereas like
You could sense the aura.
I could sense the aura. And like
Okay.
there were like times where I would be in a different room than him, and he'd like come find me and then like just look at me and smile and be like, good night.
That's so.
And I'm like,
I'd punch somebody out. I'm not gonna lie.
well,
I'd be like, nah.
and then I'd be like, well,
That's it. I could.
you know, and then I'd follow him and be like, is it like Rex? And he'd be like, he'd like just nod at me and like look at me and just like smile and nod. I'm like,
What's your plan for tonight?
I'm like,
sleep.
all right. I'm like, all right, what are we gonna talk about tonight? And it at first started off as like just kind of like innocent, just like tell me what you can, kind of thing. But then it started to turn into like Rex would threaten both of our safety. Like at the very end, before I had broken up with my ex and told him like he can't stay there anymore because it's just like freaking me out, is he said that he would kill my ex and then come after me. And then after that point, I was just like, you're not.
Seems pretty friendly. I don't know what the issue was.
Right? I don't know what the issue was, right? And so I broke up with him. But there was some like...
That was it.
That was it. I was just
That
like,
was the
you're...
final straw. Not that Rex was possessing in the first
No.
place, it's because he got salty about it.
fucking got salty about it.
Did you experience anything after that? Like experience anything like paranormal, like by yourself?
Yeah. There was one night I was driving home and I felt the pressure on the side of my neck. And almost like I was just being choked on one side of my neck. And so I got home because it was pretty close to when I got home. And I took a picture of my neck and you can actually see fingerprint marks on my neck from that instance. Anyway, that was fascinating. There were a couple lessons in that. It was quite a wild experience. That ex-boyfriend would wake me up in the middle of the night and be like, do not look up. Like, she's above you. And be like, what
What does that mean?
talking about?
I'm throwing elbows at that point. You'll
Yeah.
get the fuck out.
Yeah, do not wake me up in the dead of night.
Take your hooker with you, goddammit.
He wakes you up and tells you, "Don't look up."
Yeah.
Hey, don't look up.
Or like, he'd like
You know
wake
what
up
I
in a
wasn't gonna
panic.
do? I wasn't gonna look up until you woke me
Right?
up.
Until you like told me like I'm
My
not
natural reaction
panicking.
would be like,
Yeah, just like where and be like, stop. No, I'm just kidding. No, but he would wake up in a panic and then just tell me like, don't move. I'd be like,
Not that I can.
okay, like all right. I'd be like, she's above me because he had like a witch, like what he considered a witch spirit following him.
It's very descriptive.
And it was just a lady, you know, just a typical, like those typical descriptions of like ladies in like white dresses and like long dark hair.
yeah.
That was like, she was apparently very vindictive spirit. He did describe Rex as like a man in like kind of older clothing, but he was like purple.
Which makes
tracks
sense
with the
for
avalanche.
Wellington because avalanche, people
Yeah.
trapped, cold.
Yeah, and they say like traumatic events, all that stuff that was there. People were just angry because they died early. Trapped.
Unfinished business.
Yeah.
That could attract
Yeah.
some kind of weird.
And that wasn't actually anything that we had talked about while we were together. This was like this realization was like way after the fact. I was like, wait. He said that he was like kind of purplish.
Yeah.
That tracks with
The events that happened at Wellington.
freezing to death in the snow from the train disaster that happened up there.
Do you think there may be something, anything that may have either followed you or another do you think there might be like another presence around you?
Yeah, well, we'll get to that later. I do hear phantom noises. Things will like settle in my apartment. Like there would just be random noises. Like the cat will be in the room with me, and nothing else will be affecting, or shouldn't be affecting anything outside of that room. And we'll hear like really loud noises out there. And I do see like things in the corner of my eye in the doorway, but nothing that I've been like really freaked out about. Just that I'd be like, oh, and then I'd be like, did I actually see something?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But actually after St. Ignatius, I feel like there was a lot more because kept hearing like stomping up the staircase at the old place I lived at. And to the point where like went out there and went into someone else's room and was like, was that you? And like, no, I didn't leave my room. But like, it's weird. Because it like very clearly sounded like somebody was running up the stairs and running down the hallway, and nobody was up to do that.
Yeah, I've had similar experiences in an old house like that. Yeah, it's the craziest thing.
Yeah, it's like the only time, like that time and one other time it happened was the only time that anything has happened at that house.
It was always when I was alone at the house. Yeah, a little nuts.
What about you, Derek? You notice anything different?
I wasn't paying attention. I'm just kidding.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like because after investigation, I'm still kind of not really on edge, but it's like still kind of in that mode where I'm looking for things. Yeah. But like, I do feel like there's always some like one thing my dad used to do before. I always bring my dad was a dick. He would bang on our door like really hard and everything, or like jiggle the handle to wake us up or something like that. I know that did happen after one of the investigations at this apartment. Like I woke up because I heard the fucking banging on my door, and I thought it was my brother. But then I asked him, like, "You fucking knock on my door?" He was like, "He was asleep."
That's weird.
So I was like, "Yeah."
God damn.
But there's little things that I always end up hearing like after an investigation. Again, like I don't know if it's because I'm
still on edge.
Like the
Still
drive
on
home,
edge.
you're checking your mirrors,
Yeah.
checking. You swear you see something in the back.
But it'll be at least a good 2-3 weeks after.
Really?
Jesus.
Yeah.
So like a
Like, hear
month
little
after
things.
an investigation.
Yeah, and then it
That's
calms down.
wicked.
Like right now, we haven't had one in a while, and I haven't heard anything in my apartment. I haven't heard the footsteps upstairs like we normally do. It's usually just after.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so weird.
This weird little.
That is pretty nuts.
It's like we sage like before and after.
Yeah,
we
we
sage
do.
afterwards.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. At my old place, right before I moved this last time, middle of the day, I swear out of the corner of my eye, on a couple different occasions, I've seen a lady in a blue dress, older style, like walk out of nowhere, turn and look at me, and by the time I look, she's walking back in a way where I've actually walked the house. And I was like, what the fuck did I just see? And I'm like, no, it's just something out of the corner of my eye. It was literally nothing. But, kids are in bed or they're laying in one spot or whatever. I know it's not them. It physically couldn't be them. They're not the size. They're not whatever. But it's broad daylight.
In your apartment?
In my apartment.
Whoa.
But like nothing after that. It was like out of the corner of my eye where I'm not paying attention. I swear, just what the f was that? And then I go search and it's nothing. And I wouldn't hear anything. Nothing would be out of the ordinary. No noises. It's just out of the corner of my eye. I'd see a lady, blonde lady, older dress, blue dress, just kind of come out of nowhere and then disappear.
Just go away. I have a question for you guys. Have you ever stared at a spirit like straight?
No.
Yeah. I used to have a guy like what you said would peek through the doorway at my old place when I'd be home alone. I'd have my door cracked and I would say he, I just assume it's a he, would peek between my door opening and just stand there and look. And when you would stare at him for a couple seconds, he'd walk away and like disappear.
Did he look like he like blended in to the background? Like he still looks solid, but he was like the same color as everything.
He was
behind
darker
him?
than the dark behind him. I don't like that
I'm
nod.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like there's a story behind it.
Yeah, like
Yeah, there is, but I was just like, I was,
please creep me out, please.
Yeah.
no, in the same vein, this was around the same time that ex-boyfriend was around, and he was teaching me how to see spirits. That one spirit that he substantiated the same claim that he was around as like my other friend. I was just like, hey, if you're here, can you please like materialize in front of me? I'm gonna stare directly at the front door and just like show yourself right in front of the front door. And I sat there and I stared at the front door for quite maybe 5 minutes or so. And I just start seeing like from like the brim of his hat down like to his face and like his neck. like right here. And his facial, I don't know, again, like could be disproved by like the fact that it could be a placebo effect from like what he had described to me. So like his expression, but he was wearing the same expression as what he described and like the same bone structure, and he looked a lot like actually my great grandpa from my dad's side, or like my great great grandpa, like one of those two. And then like after that I was like, thank you so much for showing me, like please don't do that again. And
Once was enough. Thank you.
Enough. But that's why I asked, because he blended in with the background, like features of like the shadows were obviously darker than the door behind him, but like other than that he appeared to be the same color as his background.
That happened to me in an old town actually near here. You guys kind of know what area I'm talking about. I was driving, it had to be close to 3:00 in the morning. Nobody is out. It is like middle of the week, late. Driving down the road, I'm driving, my buddy in the passenger seat's on his phone, like bright as hell, like focused in on it. And we drove by a house, and then next to it was like woods, but like a little garage and inlet. And you could see the dark. You can make out stuff from the house lights, but that's it. Just driving. I'm focused on what I'm doing, just driving, blah, blah, and out of the corner of my eye, you see this black mass, darker than all the night around it, just kind of pop up like a bear. Like it was huge. Ooh. And you're just driving, and instantly it took me a second. I drove past, and I was like, and he like looks up from his phone and is like, did you fucking see that? And I was like, yeah. Instantly we turned around and like sped right back. We were maybe 3 seconds, from the time we realized what the we just might have saw to turning around, and it was gone. Like nothing there. But it was this giant black mass that was blacker than the darkness. Like you could clearly see it without looking at it, and you're just like, at that point you're like, let's get out of here, because this does not feel right. Like I've read these stories. You're on a dark road in the middle of the night by yourself. This is exactly what it wants. It wants you out of the car. It wants you to stop. It wants all this stuff. That I think is the only time I felt truly something was malicious.
Like it wants to make you crash your car or something.
Or something like it wants you to come and figure out where it went or do something. But the fact that it literally just, you're driving by, you're not even paying attention, and then all of a sudden you instantly out of the corner of your eye can recognize, holy shit, what the fuck did I just see? Yeah. That, I think, that is the creepiest experience I've ever had with anything. Besides being run up on, where it's felt like I'm being run up on by something. Yeah. I think that's like, I'm going to punch something. I don't know what it is. I can't see it. I'm going to punch it. Like, even though it's
punch it regardless.
Yeah, I'm going to throw hands.
So, that previous experience of your ex-boyfriend was that kind of like the catalyst of your curiosity going back to Wellington?
Yes, because of that experience, I felt like it would be likely that we might catch something there.
Yeah, then interacting with whatever was there was definitely something. And let's start with basically when we were there, we constantly heard footsteps in that tunnel, right? And that the tunnel, would you call it? Yeah, I would call it a tunnel. Mm-hmm.
It's a tunnel.
And then when we went to that overlook, Eric, the fact that you had the headphones on the whole time, and you could actively hear stuff in real time, was definitely like one of the things that really contributed like pretty well in this investigation, because none of us heard walking on the wooden boards on that overlook, but you did on your EVP.
Yeah.
There were some responses on the Envoy, but I think just that walking on the footsteps, and you could hear clearly on camera was walking on.
That was the creepiest thing ever.
Yeah,
because you couldn't hear that with your Virgin ear. Yeah,
and so it was nice because there was like different camera angles to show that, look, none of us are walking.
Yeah, we're all
we're all standing still.
Or like right there where you could tell what movement is what.
Right.
Yeah. And then there's nobody there, and flashlights are pointing down that way, shows that nobody's there. I remember walking down and walking back up, and no one's around us. You saw shadow prior to that.
I saw a couple
Shadows down the tunnel.
That was creepy.
And so, are those two linked? Maybe. And then
Coincidence? Probably not.
Coincidence? Probably not. And then we got, we walked as far as we could until we're like, yeah, we're not going the right way. And so we turned around and came back, and that's when you picked up. That's when we heard footsteps continuously, but then you heard that EVP of whatever the you heard. What was that?
Oh, like the weird,
like screamy whisper. I mean, it was the EVP.
Yeah,
because none of us heard it, but you who had the headphones on. Mm-hmm. That still that's something you would hear in your nightmares.
Yeah, and it sounded different to me than when
you initially
playback too. Cause like,
did it sound?
It sounded like
worse.
It sounded worse. Like when I heard it in real time, I heard like some weird. I was like, "What the fuck was that?" And it was like a mix of that and like a growly noise.
Wicked.
And even your response was like, I heard like you even said that little like noise and then like a growl at the same time. It's like, but like hearing that on playback, that's like I wasn't joking when I said that on camera. Like, there's not a whole lot of things where I say, "What the fuck." That was definitely one of them. I heard that and I was like, "What?"
Roll back the clips of Matt saying, "What the fuck?" Investigation, please.
What was that?
So I thought someone was like running up on us or something. Like,
I thought that,
especially after we were seeing like Bigfoot or something.
So when I ended up with the headphones and the parabolic microphone, I think every couple seconds I was like, somebody is running up on us. Like we're about to get shanked or something. Like we're about to get stabbed.
Clearly hear like heavy boots.
Yeah.
Dum, dum.
And we all tried to, especially me and you, because we were wearing boots. We tried to mimic it, and we couldn't get it.
It was heavy.
It was heavy.
Wow.
And then we obviously went to the train tunnel, right? And that was just something. That was something else. Constantly.
Heard talking. We heard conversations
down that tunnel, dude.
At the end, where you literally couldn't go anywhere else. At the end of it,
yeah, and that was a little sketch because like the tunnel, like, once you look above you, it looked like there was literally just
about to cave in any moment.
Cave in, we're like, yeah, get out of here.
This is how we end up never being found again. 100 years. What the fuck are they doing?
And so yeah,
the positions they're in makes no sense.
One of them scratching his ass.
One's got a finger up the nose.
So that was.
One looks like a chicken.
Oh my god.
But yeah,
comedy, okay.
Overall, just like an unsettling type of investigation because you're just constantly like weird voices, unknown voices, just everywhere.
Yeah, just sounds
definitely.
like people are
There
kind
was
of like
something.
around you.
Yeah.
At all times.
So,
Never a dull moment, for sure.
no, definitely not.
Even the sound like the train squeaks or something.
Yeah,
like
the
that.
Oh yeah, the
yeah.
brakes.
Yeah.
The sounds of like the brakes.
The stuff for the recording didn't capture. It didn't do justice. The
Yeah.
recording definitely did not do justice. But we're like, when we all heard it, we're like, that sounds like a train.
Yeah, I think we all even discussed it as it was happening. Like,
Yeah, that sounds
sound like a train just went by.
yeah, like a train, like the brakes on the train
Yeah.
like squeaking. So yeah, that was definitely one of a kind. I'll tell you that. And then we get to Stanwood Saloon. And
I don't know, it was interesting.
It was interesting, but I just had a hard time. Like I'm sure anybody who watches the video is equally as confused because there's a couple directions I went with the video. I tried to make it like more of like a comical type video because of the ghost on the toilet. And then it started serious and then turned into comical and then it like ended serious because of the last bit of what we found.
Yeah, okay.
So if anybody's confused on the direction of the video, you have every right to be confused. I didn't know the direction of the video. I wanted to take that. Anyways, started out with, I would say the REM pod, where the REM pod started going off when we were behind the bar. And so we went over and it was just constantly going off. The envoy was going off in my hands and the EMF both were going off in my hands. That was, enough to solidify, okay, yeah, there's something here, right? REM pod going off literally right behind me, Envoy's going off, and EMF's going off in my hands. I know where the power box was in that video or in that place, and we were far enough away to what's to look for.
I swear, I
Don't. No.
I literally heard a box opening.
No. And so
Just no.
we're just gonna leave it like we're just gonna leave that. We're just gonna leave that alone.
Just no.
Just no. And so that kind of solidified, okay, yeah, there's something here, right? Did I spell strangest wrong?
Yeah.
Strange. Stangest.
Wait, what?
Stange?
Strange.
STA?
I spelled that wrong. No.
Wonder.
The title of the
Yes, I spelled the title wrong.
Motherfucker. Grammar over here. You can't even spell. What's the main letter in strange that makes strange? It's the fucking R.
Oh my! The phone I'm using to film is. Oh god.
even the Wellington, was it a cane?
No,
Instead of a crane?
We're gonna talk about that.
Brain.
Our strangest.
No.
How many times have we made pirate jokes tonight and he still can't fit it in the video title?
I don't know.
I'm just saying. I'm like.
Just change it to our stinkiest investigation. Yeah.
Is the
Our
best
stinkiest.
ghost pooping on the toilet. All right. Anyways.
That might be good.
Our crappiest.
This was a Duncan. What a dump.
I'll change that. No one will know it was misspelled.
Everybody that's seen it already knows.
It's all in caps. So
How many views? 3?
yeah, pretty much. 119. Not
Time to delete and repost.
I'm tempted. Okay, so yeah, EMF, REM pod, and Envoy going off.
Multiple things is high, like almost zero on probability.
This is the first time we used a cat ball. What?
Really? In the
Use the cat
stem?
ball?
No, we used it at the house.
I don't think
call.
we got anything. No.
We used it at the house call.
Did we?
Mm-hmm.
But now we have like 20 of them. So
Everywhere.
We put it in the hallway. We also put it in the room, but we didn't get anything off of it. But that was the legit first time we used it.
This is the first time it actually went off.
It went off, yeah.
And so that is great.
Actually, I think we used it at St. Ignatius.
Yeah,
That was our first one.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah, that
Did it
was
go
our
off?
first one. No, it didn't
Yeah.
go off. 'Cause we put it in the doll room.
Mm-hmm.
We put it.
that's right.
We put it in with
Put it in the doll room and then we put it outside the doll room.
what was the girl's name?
Rosie.
Rosie. We put it in Rosie's room.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot.
Didn't get anything off that.
And this is the
This was the first investigation since introducing it to our equipment or our evidence
Arsenal.
arsenal. I was gonna go there, but I was like, you know,
Arsenal.
We take them out like
Ghostbusters,
Pokeballs.
like
Cat ball.
activate.
Gotta catch it.
But yeah, that was the saloon or
Yeah,
whatever was the first one where it actually
Went off. On,
it went off as we wanted it or intended
Yeah, because
for it to hopefully do.
Me and Rachel were there in that like little closet room. We're like, all right, so if you're not gonna close the door, at least make the cat ball go off. And then we set it down, walk away, do whatever. And then we, as we walked away and were occupied with something else, it went off multiple times. And I came back and moved it because I was like, oh, it obviously didn't go off.
Well, you didn't see it go off either, but that's when whoever came to the door.
Yeah. Then we had SLS footage in the bathrooms, which were really weird because, I mean, both you and Shanna, it almost seemed like it would like be jumping off of you guys.
Right, and at first I thought it was like reflection, right? Off the body heat, off the walls is enough for
That's
it
not
to,
how it works.
No. But it would have been enough of a reflection to mimic a body. Without mean it'd pick me up or whoever and the reflection or the whatever, right? But it was never that. It was as soon as you go to get out of camera view, it would just stick.
Yeah.
And then disappear.
Yeah, it was like I couldn't explain. I can't explain that.
You would think like, okay, it's a malfunction of the SLS or something, but for it to consistently be the same thing over a very extended period of time, it's just not possible.
Yeah. And then we moved from the men's room to the women's room, and then lo and behold, open up on the stall doors, and there it is, right, sitting on the toilet. And it's funny because I probably counted myself saying literally like 5 times. 10 seconds.
Literally, it's sitting there literally.
It's
like
literally
I've never
literally
literally seen
like,
a literal ghost taking a literal shit
on the literal toilet.
on the literal toilet.
I saw that pop up and I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. I was just so excited at the fact that it was just sitting. I was about to say literally again, sitting on the toilet. What are the chances you open a stall door and a ghost the SLS footage is of a ghost just sitting on the toilet?
Or Pierre sitting on it. That's pretty good.
So I was just, great. I loved it. All right. So that basically for me, after that point, it was just like, all right, I can't take this seriously. Ghost literally on the toilet.
Yeah.
How can I take this seriously anymore? And then,
It went nuts from there.
yeah, and then the cat ball went off a couple times in front of that closet door in front of us. And then
That closet would go from ice cold to super warm.
yeah,
It was never a consistent temperature. Not what we would get a reading on. Just walking by it, or we were like, whoa, that's all of a sudden cold. And then you go and it's completely gone. Like it's normal temperature.
it felt like a cool breeze coming out of it sometimes, and it felt like just warm air coming out of it. So
Yeah.
it was kind of weird.
It was very weird. And there was no heater in it or like vent or anything.
Just closet.
Yeah, straight up closet.
And then me and Eric kind of went and tried to find our own stuff. Then you and Rachel Rachel and Shanna go to the bathroom, and that's where the REM pod and flashlight were there, and you guys were getting responses on the flashlight.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get to the main thing later on because it's at the end of the video. But then I come in, I put the cat ball down and the envoy, and you guys ask, "Hey, can you make the cat ball go off?" And it goes off
Instantly.
And then you're like, "Okay, can you make the cat ball go off again?" And then it says no on the envoy, and it doesn't go off at the rest of the night. And you're like, "Do you prefer it to use the flashlight?"
Flashlight turns on.
Flashlight turns on, and it says yes on the envoy, I believe. I don't remember exactly, but it's just like, all right, responses like that, coincidence? Absolutely not. And then you guys ask the question, okay, did you follow somebody here? And the answer is yes. And then you go through the list of names. Me? No. Eric? No. Austin? No. Rachel?
Absolutely.
Light turns on.
Yeah.
So that kind of leaves.
Sorry about that.
So that
Singled me out there.
it really did.
Yes.
It's like, how you doing?
I am here for you.
I come up for you.
I come for you.
And so it definitely that kind of leaves like a lingering question.
For sure. Yeah.
Is there something following Rachel?
Stay tuned.
Only
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Ask more questions when we can. If things aren't.
only making itself known like at chosen times. And I say that, it sounded dramatic, but it's literal in the fact like it's choosing its times to make itself known.
I've seen this in a movie series before. Paranormal Activity, where you go on a murdering spree afterwards.
Yeah.
As long as we're not the first victims, I'm okay with that. Later down the road, fine. At least get us some footage out of it. You know what I mean?
Get some
Okay.
Okay,
I
fair.
guess so.
Cool. Made a deal with the devil.
Fair
But that
Whoops.
that just kind of, obviously in our future investigations from now, we're probably going to be asking the same question. Did you come here with somebody?
Yeah, definitely.
And if the answer is yes,
And definitely make sure we're breaking contact even more diligently.
yeah. Always say our goodbyes.
Definitely make sure that break of contact is very clear.
Yeah.
Don't follow us. Goodbye.
don't.
We're done.
Yeah, like break all contact. Don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Extra saging, extra.
It sounds
blessing.
goofy saying it, but like, you gotta emphasize like you're leaving, don't follow. Goodbye.
You gotta mean it. You really gotta mean it.
You gotta believe it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's just our experiences so far with the last
5
investigations.
It's been epic. This whole journey so far has been pretty great.
Yeah.
So, any final thoughts?
Go ahead.
Is everybody looking at me?
Eric.
Odd man out.
Any final thoughts, Eric?
Any final thoughts?
You're on the air.
I know. Now I can't think of anything.
On the
On the pressure. No, yeah, everything's been pretty good. As far as investigations and especially getting all the equipment that I haven't finished yet.
Guess we'll find out the more investigations we do.
What will happen the next time we do an investigation?
Starting to pull right now.
In the comments, what do you think is going to happen next?
What misfortune is going to fall upon who next time?
Yeah.
Right, like who's gonna get the short end of this? This time around.
Spooks and booze.
Spooks and booze.
Although there was no smoke and there was barely any booze.
Investigation 10 just did hit, so it was definitely due time.
Absolutely. Dude, we've done 10 investigations.
Yeah.
We'll see you in another 5.
Spooks and booze.
Thanks for watching,
Spooks and booze.
and we'll see you in the next one. Good night.
Spooks and booze.
Bye.
Spooks and booze.